The silence before the storm. The galaxy had long forgotten Earth, a small blue planet tucked in the quiet arms of the Milky Way. Civilizations beyond the stars thought humans were simple, weak, and ordinary. They watched from afar, expecting nothing, dismissing the tiny planet as irrelevant. But Earth held secrets older than any star in the sky. Hidden deep beneath mountains and oceans, ancient machines slept silently, their power locked away for centuries, waiting for the right moment. On Earth, cities hummed with the normal rhythms of life, people moving without knowing what slept beneath them. A team of scientists worked quietly in an underground facility, scanning signals that flickered like whispers across old satellites. They noticed strange energy spikes, small tremors in the Earth, and patterns in the night sky that no one else could explain. Dr. Alina Voss, the lead engineer, stared at the monitors, her eyes wide with disbelief. "These readings, they shouldn't exist," she said softly, her voice barely audible over the hum of the machines. Her assistant, Marco, leaned closer, tracing the lines of light on the screen. "It's like something is waking up," he whispered, a chill running down his spine. Above the Earth, satellites rotated in silent orbits, their instruments detecting anomalies in the atmosphere. Signals bounced back and forth, forming a strange rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. The machines, long dormant, began to hum faintly, tiny sparks of light flickering along their surfaces. No one knew why they were awakening, but the air around the lab seemed to vibrate with expectation. Meanwhile, distant civilizations in the galaxy noticed irregular signals from Earth. Sensors picked up energy surges, faint but distinct. Alien observers shared their findings, puzzled and uneasy. "This planet, it should be harmless," said one observer, a tall figure with eyes like liquid crystal. "But the readings, they are growing stronger," another replied. Unseen by these distant eyes, Earth's own machinery began to stir, awakening from centuries of silence. In a quiet valley, an ancient facility long buried under layers of rock and soil began to shift. Metal groaned as huge doors slid open, dust falling into the darkness like tiny stars. The first lights of the machines flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. Machines built to harness unimaginable energy pulsed with life, each movement deliberate, controlled, and precise. The air was thick with tension, the kind that precedes storms or battles. But no one knew which was coming. Dr. Voss and her team watched in awe as the monitors displayed patterns they had never seen. Energy lines arced across the screens like veins, connecting the machines across continents. "This is bigger than anything we imagined," Marco said, his voice trembling. Outside, the wind began to stir, carrying whispers of power across forests and oceans. The sky seemed to darken, though the sun still shone, a strange omen unnoticed by the unaware population. And then, in the distance, a low hum rose from the ground, growing louder with every heartbeat. It was a sound humans could feel more than hear, vibrating in their bones and minds. The first machine moved, lifting off the ground slowly, its massive form illuminated by flickering lights. The galaxy, watching silently, could not yet understand what was happening, but Earth had begun to awaken, and the silence before the storm had finally ended. Awakening of the ancient machines. The hum of Earth's machines grew louder, filling underground chambers and stretching across cities. Dr. Alina Voss and her team worked frantically, trying to understand the strange surge of energy. Every monitor flashed patterns they had never seen, lines of power connecting machines across continents like invisible veins. Marco adjusted the readings, his hands trembling as the machines seemed almost alive. "It's not just waking, it's communicating," he said, his voice barely audible. The others exchanged nervous glances, unsure if what they were witnessing was a miracle or a danger. Above them, satellites captured unusual energy pulses rising from the planet. Signals arced through the atmosphere, reflecting in the night sky like streaks of fire. The dormant machines had begun to move, giant structures lifting slowly from the ground. Their engines hummed with energy that could shake mountains or lift entire cities. Ancient weapon systems, energy conduits, and strange vehicles began to stir. No human had ever seen anything like it, and yet the motions seemed purposeful, deliberate, as if guided by a hidden intelligence. Across the galaxy, alien observers noticed the shift, confusion and fear spreading among their ranks. "This planet, it should be defenseless," one said, his voice sharp with disbelief. "But its machines, "They are ancient and powerful," another replied. "Some distant empire sent probes to investigate." Unsure if they were witnessing a natural phenomenon or the rise of a new threat, on Earth, humans felt a strange mixture of awe and fear, the very air humming with power. The team's instruments picked up a sudden spike, and the ground beneath them trembled. A massive machine rose from beneath the mountains, its surface glowing with energy. It rotated slowly, casting enormous shadows across the valley. Dr. Voss's eyes widened as she realized the true scale of what was awakening. These machines, they could change everything, she whispered, almost to herself. Marco nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery. They were witnessing humanity's ancient power returning, and the world would never be the same again. In the cities, lights flickered and screens blinked with strange patterns. Citizens noticed nothing unusual at first, but a low hum began to fill the air. Vibrating in their chests, people paused, looking around nervously, sensing a change they could not explain. Across oceans, in forests and deserts, similar movements began, as if Earth itself was awakening. Machines, long buried or hidden, began to move toward their purpose, connecting to one another through invisible networks. Some glimmered with light, others released faint bursts of energy, each displaying a precision that amazed scientists. The aliens observed with growing concern, their instruments detecting energy surges stronger than anything seen in centuries. They whispered among themselves, debating whether to approach or retreat. "This planet, it may no longer be ordinary," one admitted, a rare tremor in his voice. Meanwhile, humans worked tirelessly, guided by instinct, courage, and curiosity. They began to understand that these machines were not merely tools, but guardians of a power they had forgotten. As night fell, the valley where Dr. Voss's lab stood glowed with hundreds of machines moving in perfect coordination. Each hum and pulse resonated across the land, announcing that Earth's technology had awakened. The galaxy, watching silently, could not ignore this sudden display, and as the first true demonstration of power unfolded, humans realized that their time had come. The dormant machines were awake, and humanity had begun to rise once more. Humanity's bold statement, the machines had fully awakened, their energy pulsing across the continents like a heartbeat. Dr. Alina Voss and her team watched as the first massive vehicle lifted from the ground, its surface glowing with power. They had no instructions, no plan, only the knowledge that humanity's long-forgotten guardians were alive again. Yet, in their hearts, they felt pride and determination. For the first time, humans realized that Earth was no longer just a quiet, ordinary planet above the atmosphere. Alien observers struggled to comprehend the display. "Are they controlling this?" one asked, disbelief etched in every word. "They should not possess this level of technology," another replied. Across star systems, transmissions spread, warning leaders of unusual activity from Earth. Ships prepared to investigate, but hesitation clouded their decisions. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and that mistake was about to become clear. On Earth, humans worked together with renewed purpose. Scientists, engineers, and even former military personnel coordinated the machine's movements. Energy beams lit the skies as vast devices aligned, their mechanisms forming a complex network. Dr. Voss directed operations with calm precision, her voice carrying authority and hope. "This is our chance," she said, "to show the galaxy what humans can do." Marco nodded beside her, adjusting controls that had not been used in centuries. Each pulse of the machines sent vibrations through the land, a silent announcement that humanity had awakened. In the nearby cities, civilians looked on in awe, their eyes reflecting the glowing machines. Children pointed toward the sky as massive energy arcs stretched between towers and satellites. No one understood the full scale of what was happening, but everyone felt the power. The streets were alive with whispers and excitement, the kind that comes only once in a lifetime. Humans had finally reclaimed the legacy that had been theirs for millennia. The aliens continued to observe, their fear growing with each passing moment. "What is the meaning of this?" one demanded, watching a massive platform rise from the ocean. A human voice broadcast across the galaxy for the first time in centuries, simple yet strong. "We are awake, we are rising, and Earth is no longer silent." Ships shivered in distant space as the energy from Earth's machines surged. The galaxy began to realize that humans were no longer ordinary. They were a force to be reckoned with, a civilization capable of creation and destruction beyond imagination. Back Back on Earth, the team faced challenges as the machines responded unpredictably. Some devices acted on ancient programming, moving in ways that were beautiful and terrifying. A massive tower rotated, sending a beam of light into orbit. Scanning distant stars, another machine opened a hatch, revealing technologies humans had never dared to dream of. Yet, despite the uncertainty, humans adapted, learning to guide the awakening power. Every failure was met with determination, every success with awe and celebration. By the end of the day, the Earth itself seemed alive, its surface glowing, energy surging from every corner. The machines' coordinated movements formed symbols, messages to the galaxy. Humanity had made its first bold statement. It was awake, united, and stronger than any outsider could imagine. And as night fell, the sky lit with arcs of energy, the galaxy watching in stunned silence. For the first time, humans realized that the universe had noticed them, and it would never underestimate Earth again. The first challenge, the galaxy had taken notice, and with attention came danger. Alien probes approached Earth cautiously, scanning the planet for weaknesses. Their ships were sleek, advanced, and armed with energy weapons far stronger than anything humans had used in centuries. Yet, humanity did not tremble, for the machines had awakened, and their power was unmatched. Dr. Elena Voss stood on a hill overlooking a valley filled with massive machines. Her eyes traced every movement, every light, every hum. "They are testing us," she said, her voice steady. "But we will not fail." Marco adjusted the control panels, sending commands to the machines across the planet. Energy beams fired into the sky, creating a shield of light that pulsed with strength. The aliens' first probe hesitated, unable to penetrate the defense. In the cities, humans watched in awe as their machines moved like living beings. Towers shifted positions, energy arrays rotated, and massive engines roared to life. Civilians could feel the power vibrating through the streets and homes. Every machine acted as if guided by human thought, yet independent in its precision. The team realized that Earth's technology was not just machinery, was alive in purpose, responding to human will. The alien ships tried a second approach, sending waves of energy to probe Earth's defenses. Lasers cut through the clouds, missiles streaked toward the planet. The machines rose higher, energy arcs connecting them across continents, forming an impenetrable web. Dr. Voss and her team directed each movement, improvising as the alien attacks became more precise. Every shot fired at Earth was blocked or redirected, every missile dismantled before impact. The first true battle had begun. Though no humans had left the ground, above the planet, the aliens were stunned. "They are controlling everything with intelligence and precision," one said, disbelief in his voice. "They should be weak, but their power, it adapts," another whispered, fear growing in his tone. Human ingenuity was the difference, and the galaxy was beginning to understand that Earth was no longer ordinary. Meanwhile, underground, smaller machines moved swiftly, repairing damaged systems and enhancing defenses. Energy flowed through conduits hidden for centuries, igniting devices humans had thought forgotten. Even nature seemed to respond, trees and rocks vibrating with the power of the machines. Humans felt their connection to the planet, a strange awareness that they were part of something greater. Every challenge from the aliens became a lesson, every attack an opportunity to learn and adapt. Hours passed like minutes, the sun setting as energy arcs lit the skies. The aliens launched their final probe, a massive ship descending toward the largest machine. It fired a beam of destructive energy, splitting the sky with light. The machine lifted, moving with astonishing speed, and deflected the beam. A counterpulse of energy shot toward the alien ship, forcing it to retreat. The first real challenge had been met, and humanity had not only survived, but demonstrated strength and strategy beyond expectation. Dr. Voss breathed heavily, looking at the glowing valley below. "This is only the beginning," she said, her voice filled with both relief and determination. Marco smiled, eyes reflecting the power of the machines. "The galaxy has seen us now," he said, "and they will never forget." As night fell, Earth glowed like a beacon, machines standing ready, energy humming across the continents. The first challenge had been survived, but the galaxy was watching. Humans had risen, and now the test had begun in earnest. The age of Earth's power had arrived, and no one could deny it. Humanity recognized the first challenge had been overcome, and Earth stood proud beneath the stars. The machines hummed with energy, their lights casting a glow that could be seen from orbit. Dr. Alina Voss and her team watched in awe as their efforts had not only defended the planet, but announced humanity's return. "This is only the beginning," she whispered, her voice full of hope and determination. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations were shaken. Ships that had once dismissed Earth now moved with caution, scanning, observing, and reconsidering. "What is this planet?" one alien commander demanded, fear evident in his tone. "They should be weak, but their power is unlike anything we have seen," another replied. Messages were sent, warnings and questions traveling faster than light. The galaxy now understood that humanity was not ordinary. It was clever, brave, and unstoppable when united. On Earth, humans began to realize their true potential. Ancient machines, once thought to be relics, were now instruments of a civilization reborn. Engineers and scientists shared knowledge across nations, coordinating the vast networks of energy and machines. Cities glowed with power, towers and engines working in harmony. Every human felt the pulse of Earth beneath them, a living connection to their technology and history. It was a moment of pride and unity, the kind that shaped legends. Alien observers sent emissaries cautiously toward Earth, unsure whether to approach or retreat. Some brought gifts, others threats. Yet all treated humans with respect, for they had witnessed the demonstration of power and intelligence. Humans welcomed dialogue, but they did not bend or bow. The message was clear. Earth had awakened, and humanity had risen again. The galaxy would no longer underestimate the small blue planet. Dr. Voss walked among the machines, feeling the hum of energy beneath her feet. She thought of the generations who had built, hidden, and preserved this technology. Now their work had returned to life, stronger than anyone could imagine. Marco joined her, watching a massive tower rotate and send pulses into space. "We have made them see us," he said quietly, pride in his voice. "Yes," Alina replied. "And now we define our place among the stars." The machines responded to human commands with elegance and precision. Ancient weapons aligned, energy arrays connected, and massive engines roared to life. It was a demonstration of strength and unity, a reminder that humans could achieve what the galaxy thought impossible. Even nature seemed to join in, trees and rivers reflecting the glow of energy, the sky alive with arcs of power. For the first time in centuries, Earth was not just a planet, it was a beacon, a signal to the galaxy that humanity had returned. Awake and aware, as night deepened, the world stood illuminated, alive with purpose. Humans looked up at the stars, feeling a connection that had been lost for ages. The galaxy had recognized them, and the fear and respect of distant civilizations settled over Earth. Dr. Voss and her team knew the journey was only beginning. New challenges, new enemies, and new adventures awaited, but humanity was ready. The dormant machines had risen, and so had humanity. The galaxy would never forget the day Earth awakened, and from that moment, humanity's place among the stars was secured.